Hello, 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 and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me again remind you that we are covered by the BIP No Government License, which allows for the reuse and distribution of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. This is episode 68, which I called some quantitative immunity.
Oh,
nuts
it's
or
got a name.
These nuts or something like that. Yeah, quantitative or qualitative immunity. These nuts or something like that. That's
qualitative.
Quantified immunity. These nuts is what it's called.
Quantified immunity. These nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And only that's
Thank
only
you, Andrew.
that's only because the title that I really wanted was too long. So, I had to shorten it, and that's what I shortened it to. So, but we are down one musketeer tonight. Our local conspiracy
Clapping
theory.
cheeks in the Pacific Northwest. I hope he's at least watching that.
He's up there in area. Yeah. He's up there in area 69. So,
speaking of 69, this is our 68th episode. And our 69th episode is going to be, we've already decided, all the weirdest sex laws that we can find in the United States. Things the government has no fucking business legislating. But they legislated it at some point, and the law is still on the books. So send us the best weird sex laws from your state.
Yeah, we haven't received any of them.
I'll make a post on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I even was in the local vape shop the other day and mentioned that I needed some and got a promise out of Ethan there that he was going to send me some, and he still hasn't sent me any. So I'm a little hurt. I'm a little hurt.
So I'm gonna make like a meme because we know y'all have fucking short attention spans. We do too. So I'm gonna make a meme asking for weird sex laws, and I'm gonna post it on the Anarchy Among Friends Facebook page. So check the page if you have weird sex laws you want us to talk about on the next episode, which, by the way, Jason and I decided, sorry, Andrew, you weren't here, we're gonna do it on the 4th. Episode 69 will be on the 4th because I'm leaving like 4 days later for Oregon for the next 2 weekends. So, yeah, I won't be available while I'm in Oregon.
Yeah, we're just going to do it next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend, next Sunday.
So,
well, it's a special episode anyway, so we don't necessarily need to have the normal 2-week gap or anything. So,
right. It's a very special episode. Probably the one we've all been waiting for the whole time we've been doing this fucking show for the last 2 years.
If one of us doesn't show up for the episode in BDSM gear, I'm going to be really upset.
See, if Lindsay's feeling better, she didn't feel good enough to be on tonight. But if she's feeling better, she's going to have to make sure she's wearing the collar and stuff. I'll make sure, rig her up. She'll do the entire thing. Like, she won't actually be able to hit any buttons or anything. She'll be indisposed.
Nice.
If you're happy,
she can just yell around the ball gag if she wants her picture to come up, like she's actually saying something. You know, you're right. So much is funny.
Give her the gag. Tell her to start practicing taxation and stuff.
Just remember, kids, the best safe word to use is avocado because you can say it around a ball gag.
Yeah. That's right.
You put your hand up to your mouth. I swear to God, I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to try it at least.
Me?
Yeah, Andrew, we've told people that, and they've admitted to putting their hand in their fist in their mouth and trying it.
And they're like, "Oh my God, it works!"
Let's all try it. We'll go one at a time. Avocado. Yeah, it's pretty good. It works. Jason, your turn.
Why would I have a ball gag?
You guys aren't gonna fucking do it.
No. We totally agreed. I'll do it. You go first. No, we're not doing it.
Nope.
I had a feeling you would. I wanted to try. Just wanted to try it on air, anyways.
Andrew and I are on the other side of that coin.
Yeah. I'm not the one wearing the ball gag. Let's just put it that way.
So yeah, this is kind of an awkward segue, but former CHP leader and wife spared jail after helping their rapist son flee to Mexico. California,
because the rules don't apply to the elites.
Oh yeah,
We're not that close.
A former California Highway Patrol assistant in chief and his estranged wife were sentenced to 6 months probation for their role in helping their son escape to Mexico during his rape trial in 2012.
They helped a felony fugitive escape the country, and they only got probation.
6 months probation, yeah. Not even like heavy probation. 6 months. Yeah. Retired Fresno County Judge John Gallagher issued the statement since Friday, ending more than 5 years of legal drama for the Kyle Schreiber and his wife Gail and their daughter Crystal Reynoso. All were implicated in helping Spencer Scarby free to Acapulco. Scarby was eventually captured, convicted, and sentenced to 35 years to life for the rape of a 35-year-old housekeeper at his neighbor's home.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hardcore felon that they helped escape.
Yeah.
The Scarbers agreed in June 2018 to plead no contest to a felony charge of conspiracy to commit a crime. As part of the agreement, judge ordered Kyle and Gail to each perform 500 hours community service and pay a total of $10,000 in restitution to the state of California for its criminal investigation. Reynoso pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor conspiracy charge. That's the sister. She was ordered to perform 250 hours of community service. Yeah.
What a fucking family of shitbags.
Once they completed their community service and paid the restitution, Kyle and Gail's felony convictions will be reduced to a misdemeanor, and Reynoso's conviction, that's the sister again, will be dismissed.
They won't even have real records at the end of this.
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
They helped a guy who brutally enough raped a woman that he got 35 to life.
35 years.
They helped him escape justice, and all they got was, we're going to have to pay us back for investigating and do some community service, and here's a slap on the wrist to 6 months of probation. I mean, you get worse than that in the state of Georgia for driving your car without insurance.
Yeah. Detectives allege that Gail and Crystal drove Spencer across the border, where he dyed his hair, grew a goatee, used fake identification, and disguised himself in hopes he would not be found.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is just, and people wonder why I post so many pictures of the Punisher, because it's about fucking time.
Yeah. What kills me is when cops have the Punisher on their gear. It's so fucking wrong for cops to have the Punisher on any other shit.
The creator of the character, the Punisher, he called cops out for that before.
It's the cops actually get in trouble for it in the newest Punisher issue.
Mm-hmm.
He actually threatens to kill them if they keep using the Punisher logo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the whole point of the Punisher was because the police had failed justice. The justice system had failed.
Yeah.
So,
it was irretrievably broken, and so he was going to take matters into his own hands and just start killing people who he found to be guilty. And in the latest comic, he actually calls them out, and he does this big long speech about how, I represent the failure of the justice system. If you're using my symbol, you're declaring yourselves the failures of the justice system, and that you have a right to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So this guy is a member of the gang.
The gang. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The gang.
Was it George Carlin's? It's a great big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was a CHP assistant chief. So he was high up in the organization.
Right.
motherfucker called in a lot of favors on this one.
Because CHP is statewide.
California Highway Patrol, yes, it is.
Yeah. So it's not just like one precinct. Like this guy was a muckety muck on the state level.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I'm sure he probably spent some time in Sacramento, and
I'm sure
up there with the politicians. So.
Yep. So he's one of the gang. He's a member of the gang. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the rules don't fucking apply to him. Yeah. I mean, we see this story in so many different, like the details change, but the plot stays the same. Always and forever, they are above the fucking law, just like politicians.
Well, yeah, if you've seen, was it Training Day at the end there with Denzel Washington, where he's like, I'm the police, y'all just live here.
Yeah,
that is actually their attitude. I fucking rule. You're just nothing but a serf. Don't argue with me, peasant. And that's their attitude.
Exactly.
Okay, a quote from the lawyer. He says, "It's over. It's been a long and painful ordeal for the family, and now they can try and put this behind them with only misdemeanor convictions."
What? Put this behind them? How about the woman who got raped?
Yeah, it's been trying for them. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't care. It was just really hard, you know, because he like raped that woman and she was just a housekeeper and he was going to have to go to prison.
You should have raised better kids. I mean, for fuck's sake, you should have raised better kids. This is, I mean, obviously this kid was raised on an environment of, you know, of
should have fucking put him down like old Yeller.
Of like privilege above the law and authoritarianism and taking whatever he fucking wants.
God, the kid even looks like a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, he does.
Look at that. That's just
he looks like Dylan Roof.
Oh,
he looks like Dylan Roof, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, keep in mind this guy is the dad is a high-level CHP officer, which means that he's part of that statistic. Remember, 40% of cops beat their wives. So, and that's that same authority thing. No, I'm above the law. I'm better than you. I can do anything I want. I guarantee you the son absorbed that from dad. Yeah. Dad probably smacks the shit out of the wife, which is the reason why she cooperated.
Yeah, she failed, or she filed for divorce back in May.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Like an authoritarian.
This kind of like, this intergenerational like spread of this fucking disease of authoritarianism. I mean, it has to come to an end at some point, you know? But that it causes people like this, assholes like this kid.
Yep. And nothing's happening to them of any appreciable anything. He's probably, is he even like off of the force at this point? Or is he just...
He's retired. Yeah.
Oh, he got to retire.
Yeah, he's retired. No, he was already retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was already retired. He just has that legacy plug into the fucking, you know, the violent gang. So...
Same thing as the mafia with the old men. After they retire, they still get to call shots and things, and they get special favors and everything else because they were a loyal member of the mob while they were in.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just fixing something in my car real quick. All right.
The thing that really gets me is if this was someone else, like if this was you and I, and we were helping our son escape from a fucking parking ticket. Like, we would be in jail.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We'd be in deep shit.
Yep. But...
aiding and abetting a fugitive is supposed to be a felony always.
Yeah. Unless...
not that we...
Technically, it was a felony.
Yeah. Not that we believe in any of these fucking laws. I mean, we're just saying, you know, it's unevenly applied. So.
Let's see. Yeah. Spencer, that's the kid that did the rape. He was 20 years old when he was arrested. Arrested for the rape of a 35-year-old.
Jesus.
When authorities caught up with Spencer in Mexico, he was already in jail there for allegedly using false identification. Ooh. How do you get arrested in Mexico? In Acapulco. How do you get arrested in Acapulco?
Don't have enough money to bribe your way out of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ask Jason Henza and Shane about that one.
Yeah.
They'll know.
I think Andrew's pretty much got it on the head. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, only...
Like, Mexican policing is like even worse policing for profit than here in the States. You know, like it's straight fucking gang activity and extortion.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, all I can think of is that one stand-up comedian talking about getting busted with like just enormous amounts of ketamine in Mexico. And he winds up bribing the cop, and because the cops like have him in the vehicle, and he's like, wait a minute, why aren't they taking us to jail yet? And then it dawns on him, and so he pays him like $200.
They're waiting for their bribe.
Yeah, and so he pays him like $200, which is like way overpaying them. Like his buddy, when he found out, was like pissed that he gave him that much. He's like, dude, you could have gotten away with 50. What? But then because he gave him so much money, as he's leaving, they roll up again. And he's like, oh, God, here's where they kill us. And they go, hey, you forgot your drugs, and toss them back to them.
Jesus.
That's like when Shane did a video of them driving down to Acapulco, or driving down to Mexico City, then Acapulco, or whatever it was. But they come upon a checkpoint, a police checkpoint, and the police are like trying to extort them, trying to force them to give money. Oh, you can't drive a car with Arizona or Illinois license plates in Mexico. And Jason's like, fuck you, and just drives away. They didn't get chased or nothing, because I mean that's what it was. It was extortion.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Nope, we're not gonna make any money off of that guy. Whatever.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Fuck them. So, all right.
But if they think they can make money off of you and you're just holding out, that's when you go to Mexican jail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or unless you're if you do enough that like it's like a public outrage, a public outcry, that's when they will start paying attention to you.
Yeah.
So how about we go to that one? Ooh, this one's making Andrew mad, because 100
any comments yet, by the way? Sorry.
Nope. Nothing.
Nope. Slinky said he was going to watch and comment.
Anyway,
he also said he was going to be nice. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I told him if he was nice
to that.
I told him if he was nice in the comments, I was going to call him out.
Well, not only that, but like I was really mad I was on a ban, so I couldn't respond, because I wanted to be like, wait, you're going to be nice and watching us? Oh God, I need an adult.
Right.
How calming of you. Oh, speaking of calming,
drunk.
A 106-year-old woman might lose her house because she's behind on property taxes.
Yeah. This makes me so angry.
It gets so much worse, right? 106-year-old woman is facing a tax sale on her home because she's behind on her property tax payment. Rose Estwinick, Estwanick, Estwanick has lived in the Cranford Colonial since it was built in 1943. Let's see, there is a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe has raised enough money, but that's secondary to the point.
Still.
Yeah, it shouldn't
right.
I started a GoFundMe earlier this month that raised $12,000. This is a few days old. It's well over that. To pay down the $12,376 property tax balance from 2018-2019, they need to raise a minimum of $8,400 to avoid being part of the tax sale in September. They raised better than twice that. But Roseanne, the daughter, has been fighting around-the-clock care for her mother since losing her job in 2011. Rose has dementia is a 30-year breast cancer survivor, has AFib, that is irregular heartbeat, and severe arthritis in both knees. Quote, she's human with a heartbeat.
Yeah,
that's
she's
still
106.
106 years old, yeah. So, quote, she's still human with a heartbeat that beats universal notes all of us can understand, Roseanne wrote in the GoFundMe. Quote, if we open up our mind and hearts, spend some time with older individuals, and understand life is meaningful even at the very end. Yeah, the taxes
Now,
on the Roger Avenue home are 9,000. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep reading.
Okay.
Sorry.
The taxes on the Roger Avenue home are $9,038 per year, according to Zillow. The average property tax bill for Cranford is $11,734, and the average property tax bill for New Jersey is $8,767. So $9,000 a year on a house that you own.
Jesus. You can't own your own property in the U.S. You just can't. You're
you
renting.
Never do. The best you get is renting.
Yeah.
So 9,038 divided by 12 is $695 a month. So she's essentially paying rent, $695 a month to live in her own home.
Yeah, that's about what we pay for our 2-bedroom duplex for rent.
Yeah. Quote, it's a very unfortunate situation, said Jamie Cran, a Cranford's business administrator. Quote, nobody looks at the person when we're doing these things. If we were to dig into the file, it would be said that we were playing favorites. The tax
it would be said that you're being human, you fucking psycho.
That's nicer than I would have called her. The tax sale, Crayon said, means that someone could purchase the debt the Eastwick owes the town, and that person would have to go after Eastwick to collect it. In 2 years, if after 2 years the debt is not collected from the homeowner, the debt holder could purchase the foreclosure.
Now, if I had the money, that's the kind of thing I would go around just doing for elderly people in situations like this, and just never trying to collect it from them and buying the foreclosure, but never fucking evicting them and just letting them live their lives in peace.
If I had the money, I'd pay for the ammo for people to go stand outside that home and defend it from the fucking city.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so here's the thing. I've got a little bit of experience dealing with dementia. My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and it's very similar. Obviously, they're very similar diseases, and or the same, depending on how people are using it, I guess. But she's lived in this house since 1943.
Yes.
Right? That's
like
well before the onset. Like since she was in her 40s, late 30s, early 40s.
Something like that, 30s, yeah.
So she's been living in that house since before, like dementia or Alzheimer's kind of like eats away at your memories from where you're at backwards. So people remember things from their youth and their young adulthood and raising a family and things like that they don't. And then like after that, they don't remember anything. So she's been in that house since she was a young woman raising a family, right? She remembers that house. If she remembers nothing else that's happened in the last 30, 40 years, she remembers that fucking house. How sick is it to try to fucking remove her from her house, sell it out from under her over a fucking tax debt?
Wow. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the GoFundMe page. It's over $19,000 now with 500 donations. There's several $100 donations, and there's a $500 donation.
Nice.
A lot of people are just $10 and $20, $25. There's a $300 one from an anonymous donor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean they have the money, thank goodness, but
right.
Fact
but that's
that
not the
they
point.
need it in the first place.
Right.
But
it's without government, who would save little old ladies' homes?
Yeah.
You know?
Without government, all the little old ladies might actually keep their houses.
Yeah.
And what a world that would be.
For real. Like that is the biggest threat to an elderly person's home is tax debt and tax liens and tax liabilities. I
would
mean,
wager that the majority of people who actually lose their houses to tax debts are probably elderly. They're probably over the age of 60.
yeah, at least. Yeah.
So you're just robbing all of these old people so that some little fucking vulture can swoop in and snatch their house from them.
Yeah, for pennies on the fucking dollar, for what it's worth.
Yeah, and it's not just one old person. It's the lady and her daughter, right? I mean, she's 106. The daughter's no spring chicken. She's 67 years old.
Right.
You're kicking two people out on the street.
Yep.
Over the entitlement of property tax?
Yeah.
Like, how much is this lady driving? Like, really, how many roads is her taxes paying?
Yeah, to church and back on Sundays.
Yeah. Roseanne not turned Friday. She reached out to Assemblyman John M. Bramick's office for help after receiving the notice about the tax sale. Quote, I went over there to make sure this was real, Bramick said. There's this 106-year-old woman sitting there, and when I waved to her, she smiled and waved back. That's how I knew it was real. Bramick said he immediately reached out to Governor Murphy and others in the state to see what programs and other assistance was available. Quote, I was overwhelmed, Bramick said, of meeting the mother and daughter. These are two people who spend 24 hours a day in this house.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere. They don't really see. They're living on Social Security, maybe a pension.
Right. Yeah.
They have no money. They have nothing, and you're just going to kick them out onto the street.
You're going to kick those two people, those two sweet-looking old ladies, out of the house because of taxes.
Right.
Because of the belief that they owe you money for living on their property.
Yeah, and how is it not that, like, people who are collecting retirement age Social Security, how is it not built into Social Security that they're exempt from property taxes? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How is that not part of that law? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, states have laws like Arizona. We covered it last week about the disabled vet that was going to lose his home. We covered that Arizona has programs that stop property taxes on disabled vets. Like, how come we don't have this sort of thing for elderly people? This is a 106-year-old woman with dementia.
Well, and I guarantee you that the argument's going to be now, if you ever tried to pass anything like that, well, but millennials aren't buying homes, younger people aren't buying homes, so you wouldn't get any property taxes at that point.
How is that her responsibility? She's been paying taxes her whole fucking life. How is that her fucking responsibility?
Yeah, she's been paying property taxes on that property longer than most of these people collecting the property taxes have actually been alive.
Way longer.
Yeah.
Way longer. Like, I'm turning 39 next month, and I was born in 1980. She's been in that house.
She's been in that house 76 years.
Jesus.
The house. This house was built. So the house is 76 years old. She's been in it the entire time.
So since she was 30 years old.
30.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
She's literally known no other home. I mean, for like her entire life. I mean, maybe a couple of places before that, but for the most part, her entire life. That's an entire human lifetime. That's life expectancy. She's been in that house.
Right. Yeah.
And you're just going to snatch it out from under her, just grab the rug and pull it out because you want to pretend that you're somehow owed money for her right to live in a property she's occupied longer than you've been fucking alive.
Or pretend like you even, need her $8,400.
Almost $700 a month.
And pretend that you're going to fucking spend it efficiently. Fuck you. It's not like you're actually, so much of that money is just getting fucking wasted anyways on stupid fucking spending and like never done public works projects that like just sit there abandoned. And we all know the inefficiencies of government. So just fucking leave her alone, for God's sake. It's not like she's gonna live all that much longer. Just leave her in fucking peace. Jesus.
Yep. Literally being punished more than that last couple we talked about.
Yep.
Yeah, because that last couple's not about to lose their house. They're not even gonna once they complete everything, assuming they complete everything that the court ordered for them, that they're gonna be able to fucking own weapons again. They're gonna be not even felons.
Nope.
Yep.
Like they're gonna have their house, their cars, their livelihood. They're still gonna be collecting, probably a really comfy police pension, and
very
Social
comfy
security, and everything else. They're not losing any of that. All they're losing is, we have to do this community service. And since they're retired anyway, what else they got going on?
Right. They're probably already fucking doing it. I mean, like most retired people find something to do with their time.
Yeah. Spend their volunteer hours at the fucking country club.
Yeah.
Probably.
We're teaching tennis.
Yeah.
Or here's the kicker. I mean, like the police, I'm sure, have hookups to like community service projects that involve them. So they can just like have the dude run a fucking like community outreach program for the police department, for his community service.
Yeah, basically
hours.
just hang around with his fucking buddies.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but this 106-year-old woman would have lost her home without the voluntary
106-year-old
kindness.
woman and her 67-year-old daughter.
Right. Without the voluntary kindness of other human beings helping her reach what she needs to keep her house.
And that really is an important point, that it was just people coming together and contributing small amounts of money. All these people believed in something, contributed to it, and saved her house. And the same people who argue for property tax will go, well, but how would we, what about the poor people getting educated? We can't have just private schools. Well, if a whole bunch of people can come together and contribute money because they value her having her home and they get nothing in return, there's absolutely no reason that if they value school that much that they can't contribute to it.
Right.
$19,081 raised by 501 people in 13 days.
Yep. Yep. So don't tell me that a good private or privately run like community school that's run on private funds, don't tell me that couldn't fucking work. Don't tell me that the people of that community and others wouldn't contribute because they believed in those kids getting at least a basic education. Don't fucking tell me people don't value that, because obviously they do. That's why they want everybody fucking taxed to pay for it. So, I mean, people contribute money to what they value. If your cause is good, you don't need fucking government. If your cause is shit, government is where you want to go to get it done.
Yeah. To all the donors, I will continue to thank each and every one of you. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble posting updates, but I will continue until all my donors are thanked personally and know how much I appreciate your donations, kind words, and blessings. I cannot express enough times how grateful and humbled I am at your outpouring of generosity. That was the latest update 5 hours ago on the GoFundMe.
Right, and that's the daughter.
Yeah, because a 106-year-old woman with dementia is probably not running her own GoFundMe campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's not even making that comment for her daughter to like record or write down for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When reached for comment, she said, "Is Ed Sullivan on?"
Yeah. When reached for comment, she said, "I remember a time where we would go down to the river every summer."
There's a picture of the actual tax bill, and they charge fucking interest.
Yep.
On the tax bill.
Jesus.
Yep, but if you overpay, they will, if they even refund you, they do so years later without a single dime of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. For the period, for the first period, 2019, the bill was $2,431.16. There's an interest of $153.
Jeez. God.
That's
This kind of shit leaves me really speechless because I find it hard to articulate how fucking shit tier the people are who do these jobs and fucking can't find a scrap of humanity for people like this. Like, I don't even know what to say about people who pursue shit like this through official channels. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, what kind of scumbag?
Yeah. How do you get up?
It's your fucking job. I don't care.
How do you get up and go to work in the morning? Like, yep, today I'm going to take lady's house.
Yeah. How do you fucking sleep at night? Yeah.
What kind of, I mean, how are these families of these people okay with this? Knowing, like, if I knew that a member of my family took part in something like that, I would never let them hear the fucking end of it. I wouldn't be able to stay in the same room as them for that.
Right.
So how do you go, oh yeah, so cousin Bobby over there totally stole a 100-year-old woman's house from her.
Yeah.
For a tax
Just
bill.
doing his job. Just doing his job.
Yeah, he was just doing his job.
I don't give a fuck if that's your job. If you go through with some shit like that, you are a shit human being. You are a 10-pound bag of smashed assholes. So.
Yeah. Oh, what was I going to do? I'm just one man. You had a fucking choice. Yep. You had a choice. You know, me and a couple of people just had this discussion the other day. We were talking about the Nuremberg trials and all of that was just doing my job bullshit that happened. And they were like, and when asked, you know, several guards, when they're asked, well, why didn't you just refuse? Well, they would have shot me. Okay, well, even if they shot you, and we know that's not the case because multiple guards did, in fact, actually quit. Even if they shot you, at least you died with fucking principles, man. You still made a choice. You still stood up for something and said no and are not complicit in it. You
sent a message to everybody who saw that, and more people will start refusing.
Yeah. And instead, you're such a coward that to save your own skin, you were willing to do horrible, unspeakable things and then shrug your shoulders and go, well, I'm just following orders.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, even if you're some like mid-level fucking bureaucrat and there's, you know, at the fucking State Department of Revenue or whatever, and this crosses your desk, just fucking lose the goddamn paperwork. I mean, pretend that you just can't find it or you just haven't gotten to it or whatever you can. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Like, it's like literally like, who's going to come look for this?
Right.
Like if like you're that person and you're the one that is checking these boxes and you see, oh, this 106-year-old lady owes $12,000 in taxes. Huh? Should we take her house or should I just lose this piece of paper? Lose the fucking piece of paper.
Yeah.
Just let it fall off your desk. Put it on the bottom of the pile.
Because all the people before you in the process, they just assume that it went up the chain and got dealt with. And all the people after you in the process don't fucking know about it yet. Mm-hmm. So just fucking lose the goddamn paper.
Well, and chances are, unless it's like a Los Angeles, you know, or some really big city, chances are that it's like one person doing all of the processing of this. One fucking person with almost zero oversight, nothing. So
yeah, in our county, I guarantee you it is. There's like 25,000 people in our entire county.
Yeah, so there's one person, and if you are the one person doing that, you completely have the personal moral agency to go, no, this isn't right. I'm going to lose it. I'm just going to lose the paper. No one will ever know because I'm the only one who even looks at the numbers.
Yeah.
So no one's ever going to know that I just didn't further it. And we're not saying forge documents and put yourself in that position. Just don't do anything with it.
Yeah, just abstain from acting. I mean, that is always your right.
And I guarantee you that if you did that, if you just ignored these, if you put them on the bottom of the pile and just left them there, and somebody did complain, next election, all you do is be like, okay, look, I saved this person's house, this person's house.
Yeah.
like you're not going to get outvoted. Like,
Yeah. No, I want this person to be stealing all of my neighbors' homes. In fact, I want them to take mine. How dare they not take my house?
Like,
Right.
That's not going to happen. That's
if you
never.
if you put these papers aside, you have full on permission to call yourself Robin Hood. I'm okay with
Yep. Yeah, totally.
that.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah,
there,
you're
there's
especially Robin Hood.
So, all right. Detroit cops arrest police commissioner and a protester at a righteous public meeting.
raucous.
That's what I said.
Oh,
Yeah.
Detroit Police Commissioner Willie Burton was yanked out of his seat and arrested during a public meeting Thursday because the chairman wanted him to stop talking. Burton was trying to call out the Board of Police Commissioners for holding illegal committee meetings that neither he nor the public were allowed to attend. During one of these closed-door sessions, commissioners quietly hashed out a policy for the city's pervasive and controversial facial recognition system.
oh Jesus Christ!
But board chairwoman Lisa Carter didn't want to hear about it. As three police officers dragged Burton to the ground, officers held back protesters, some of them who were wearing masks, to show their opposition to facial recognition technology.
This story is like an anarchist issue cornucopia. All right,
Yeah.
I mean, this has it all. This story.
Check.
So,
Yeah.
so the commission, which I think is like, it's like 5 people. I think that's what I read. 5 people, and they held secret meetings minus one of the commissioners. He wasn't allowed to attend. Neither was the public. So these other 4 commissioners had a secret meeting by themselves to hash out the city's public recording policy, public surveillance policy.
So they deliberately like forbid the one honest guy in the group from attending.
They
Yep.
removed
And
the
then they had him
one voice of
arrested when he
opposition.
demanded answers. Holy
Yes.
fucking shit!
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, there's a picture of him being pulled off by the 3 police officers. There you go.
I'm still seeing
Yeah,
Andrew
so-
for some reason. It's not switching for me.
But so for the one guy who's in opposition, they exclude. They meet in secret so that there's no public oversight in order to set up a hyper draconian dystopian future technology in the city. And the moment that the one guy that they excluded, who is a member of the group that is supposed to be determining this stuff, speaks up, they have him thrown in a cage so that he can't publicly speak out about it.
Yes.
And we're not living in a communist police state at all. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
There's nothing Orwellian about this at all. You're just
Yeah.
a crazy fucking conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. While in the back of the police car, Burton said he wanted to let my constituents know that I'm fighting for them. As Burton was hauled away and protesters were silenced, the board continued its meeting. The board is expected to approve the city's face scanning system during
Of
next
course
week's
they are.
meeting, despite mounting criticism from the public and plans by Congress to impose a moratorium on the technology. A day before the meeting, Senate Representative Isaac Robinson, Democrat out of Detroit, introduced a bill that would ban facial recognition technology for 5 years. The idea is to give lawmakers and experts time to research technology's flaws and whether it is unconstitutional.
Yeah, but you can't advise caution. You're not allowed to advise. Let's think about people's rights first and see if this might be a violation.
How dare you question the Führer?
That's wrong think. You just can't do that.
Hold on, it gets even better. All right. Numerous studies have shown the system is racially biased. Researchers have found that the technology is more likely to produce false matches on people with darker pigment. Legal experts also say the technology is invasive and may violate people's Fourth Amendment rights.
Except for Asians, because they all look alike.
Despite these concerns, neither Mayor Mike Dugan nor Police Chief James Craig has shown a willingness to study the issue further. In fact, police have used the system for 2 years without the police commission's approval.
Holy shit.
They just used it. They just went, this is probably fine, and just started using it.
Police departments are like little kids with new fucking toys on Christmas.
The police chief, quote, "Is there a chance you may arrest the wrong person?" Yes, the police chief said.
So what's the fucking point of using it?
So this thing totally doesn't work and blatantly violates an enormous number of rights.
And it's going to cost like a gajillion fucking dollars.
Yeah, it's going to cost enormous amounts of money, but we don't want anybody to question it because we want it.
Yeah.
Right.
The next article on the queue says that the commissioner that was arrested at the meeting won't be charged.
He better not be. You want to talk about a lawsuit.
They shut him up when they needed to, though.
Yep.
They got him away from the fucking meeting. They achieved their aim.
1984 them.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it's totally a how dare you question the Fuhrer. He has made his decision and it is in the best interest of the fatherland.
Yeah.
There will be 9 speaking out.
Or it's like the way that I picture these people is like fucking Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. Right? To question my authority in my classroom is to question the minister himself. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's Harry Potter did a good job of illustrating that, actually, that phenomenon. So
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a mom of boys. We have 4 boys. I mean, I know Harry Potter. Excuse me.
All right. Before we jump into the next article, which is just going to lambast, it's going to be such a fun article. You guys are going to love it. Right. Okay, before we get into it, there's a quote I want to read from December 5th, 2007. In a post or in an article on the nationalreview.com, Larry Kudlow, he is Trump's economic advisor. December 2007, he said, and I quote, "The recession debate is over. It's not going to happen. Time to move on."
Yeah.
And you remember what happened in 2008 and 2009 and all that
War
stuff,
is
right?
peace. Freedom is slavery.
Yeah. Article from Fox Business that says, quote, "U.S. can have an unlimited minimum wage." According to Larry Kudlow. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow said Tuesday that the U.S. economy is thriving and that the minimum wage is heading towards $20. Quote, "We have tremendous prosperity. We are growing across the board. Unemployment is down. Wages are up. Consumers are booming. It's across the board. Every conceivable subgroup, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, and so forth, less educated, less skilled, are doing the best," he said in an appearance on Fox and Friends.
That's too much capitalism here. Have some socialism.
Adding that we can have an unlimited minimum wage through private sector prosperity. Kudlow comments.
Unlimited minimum wage.
Comments come on the heels of Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat in Michigan, calling for the federal minimum wage to be $20 an hour on Sunday during an event in Detroit. A number of companies have raised minimum wage in the last year, including Walmart to $11 an hour, Amazon to $15, Target to $13. The current minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Yeah. Quote, "When you look at some of these big companies, Walmart and others, I'm going to say $15 to $20 minimum wage because of private sector prosperity. This is the best way to do it, and that's where we're going."
A lot of those companies start people out higher than minimum wage anyways. You know what I mean?
Well, because they want to attract the best talent. That's how you attract good talent, is you pay more. But that's not a minimum wage. That's just the way the market works. You keep using this word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
My 17-year-old just got his first job, and he's washing dishes in a crab shack down on the river, right? He's getting paid $8 an hour to do that for his first job, just washing dishes. Like, he does that at home all day anyways. But now he's getting paid $8 an hour to do that. And that's above the current minimum wage. First job, It's like the lowest job on the totem pole in the restaurant. You know what I mean? And it's still above minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
can you imagine if the federal minimum wage was $20? Do you think anyone would hire a person to wash dishes?
No.
At $20 an hour, especially when they have nothing else they can contribute. They have no experience, no background, no education.
I'll even take that a step farther. Like, I understand that economic. Let's take this into a different direction. All right. I am showing the camera. You guys won't be able to see it if you're listening, but this is a picture of a $100 billion bill that he used to buy 3 eggs in Zimbabwe.
Yep.
A $100 billion bill. This guy was a billionaire 100 times over, and it purchased him 3 eggs.
$100 billion.
Yes.
Just because you're making $15, $20, $25, $100 an hour, it doesn't mean you have a better quality of life.
Yeah, they just want to look at the number and they don't want to look at fucking purchasing power.
Think about what making $10 an hour means in, say, in Vernon County, Wisconsin. It's one of the poorest counties in the state. It's almost entirely rural. It's all farm community. $10 an hour will pay for a pretty good living there.
Yes.
Now take that and transport it to Beverly Hills.
It's
completely different.
That wouldn't even pay your
$10 an hour here is jack shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the difference. And or like Hawaii, statewide, Hawaii, the cost of living is so high.
Oh my God, so fucking high. I lived there for 3 years and a gallon of milk was like $7, like store brand milk. You know?
Yeah, so just because the dollar amount on your paycheck is higher in no way indicates that you can in fact buy more things and live better. It just means that the number's higher. That's all that it means. And if you raise minimum wage that high, the cost of living will naturally follow that minimum wage. And simultaneously, you're also denying the entry to work of people who have no background, who are the most vulnerable in the workforce to losing their jobs.
New kids just starting out. Yeah, new kids just starting out won't be able to find a job, you know, because their labor isn't worth that.
So, I mean, if you're collapsitarian, that sounds wonderful. Yes, $100 billion minimum wage. It'll be an infinite. I made an infinity dollars today. I mean,
right.
Like you guys have studied the Weimar Republic, right? You guys have seen pictures.
Oh, the Weimar, Weimar
of them getting paid in cash at lunchtime because the inflation rate changed so quickly that by the end of the day it would be a different rate, and the wives going to get what they could and carrying the money in a freaking wheelbarrow because it was so much, and they could get like a couple loaves of bread. And eventually it became cheaper to actually burn the money than to buy firewood.
Yeah, my old German teacher's parents grew up in the Weimar Republic. And he was always telling us stories about, you know, how hard it was. And people were like burning bricks of money because like firewood cost more than the same weight of cash was worth. You know what I mean?
Well, don't forget that the entire reason that happened, one was because the government was printing too much money, but two, because the government was living entirely on loans that it was taking out from mostly the United States and other allied countries to pay the United States and other allied countries for the World War I reparations. So it was all it was all debt, and it was dependent entirely on the U.S. economy continuing to grow. And the moment that the stock market crash happened here, which was ultimately a direct result of cheap money and perpetual debt being a thing, the moment that happened, it collapsed because it was all built on debt, which should sound familiar because the United States economy right now is basically entirely built on debt to another freaking country.
What are we at? Like almost $2.5 trillion national debt. And then running like almost $1 trillion a year deficit.
Yeah, and there's a theory that the Weimar Republic's hyperinflation was actually deliberate in order to pay off their like sanctioned debt, like their war debts or whatever. Like if they could keep the inflation like fast enough, they could pay off the debt faster because the international exchange wouldn't have caught up yet with the inflation. Yeah. So that there's a theory that that is what happened. And I gotta kind of wonder if the U.S. federal government doesn't consider things like that from time to time, given how much fucking money we owe to like China and the Federal Reserve and shit. You know what I mean?
And another point that he doesn't make, or that he chooses to ignore, is that the companies that he said, Amazon, Walmart, Target, they don't pay corporate taxes in most places.
Right.
Yep.
You know who does? Small businesses.
Mom and pops.
Yep.
Yeah, and they can absorb the increase. That's why Walmart pushes. Walmart is one of the dirtiest companies in the world. They are. If you ever watch Walmart, The High Cost to Low Price is a really good documentary about it, very in depth.
What service is it on?
I think when I watched it, it was on Netflix.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, but it's about they actually interview former like executive level managers for Walmart, and like they talk about before they would build a Walmart in a town, driving around and pointing to all these mom and pops and going, I give that one 3 months, 6 months, 4 months, and calling and actually making bets on how long it would take them to crush the competition and drive them out of the market space. Yeah. And then what Walmart started doing on top of that is they did the hometown markets. And because Hometown Market is technically a different company, same corporate umbrella, but a different company from Walmart, they'll build a Hometown Market on the other side when they have tough nuts to crack, and then do competition between the two and keep lowering their prices until they price all of the other guys out to get rid of them. And Walmart is now supporting a higher minimum wage because of course they are, because they can absorb that cost, just like with dropping their prices immensely below what everyone else can. They can absorb that, whereas their competitors can't. And all it does is guarantee that the big corporations keep getting bigger.
Yep.
Which is, it could be part of it. That absolutely could be part of it. Larry has no formal economic training, by the way. He has no like economics degree.
So, and he's the economics advisor?
Yeah, he's Trump's economic advisor, yeah.
Well, that explains a few things.
Well, I don't know, because I don't have any formal training in economics, but you know, even I can see the flaws in the shit this guy is saying. So
but yeah, you'll hear that all the time, though, especially from people who are unemployed or underemployed and don't seem to understand like economics. They don't understand struggle and don't want to have to just work for anything. They'll just demand they'll demand the universal like income. They'll demand the higher minimum wages and everything else, because socialism and communism are economic theories of envy.
Yep. Meanwhile, let me, for a minute, if I can go up on a tangent, I'm going to tell you guys what my 17-year-old son is doing and planning. All right? This is a kid raised by people who don't believe in stealing from others. There's no culture of envy in our house. We're not like that, right? I don't know why my video keeps going out anyways. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why that keeps going out. But anyways.
It's because your Wi-Fi is melting.
Yeah, I think so. So anyways, my 17-year-old kid is working that shit job that I mentioned, dishwasher at a fucking crab shack, comes home stinking a high heaven, works 10 and 12-hour shifts, his feet fucking killing him, no breaks, because it's a little place, you know, so it's not subject to some of the larger like labor laws for larger places. So he's working his ass off, getting paid $8 an hour. Is he going to be doing that forever? No. In September, he's starting classes to get certified for MIG welding. And then he's going to get a better job. And meanwhile, what is he doing? He's studying. And he's studying flight. he is going to go take his test and get his private pilot's license. And then he's going to, with the money he earns at this job and at the, welding job, by spring, I would guess, he's going to be paying to put himself through small, like single engine commercial flight school. It's like $4,000 or something like that. And that's after paying, $140 an hour for flight instruction and things like that. He's paying for all of it himself. He's living in our house and he's working his butt off, and he's got plans to get a better job so he can pay for more. And he's working a plan to become an Alaskan bush pilot. He wants to be a bush pilot in Alaska. The guys that like run supplies and people to like the far-flung places that the roads don't reach and shit like that.
Yeah.
By the time he's 17, by the time he's 22, he's probably in Alaska, living his fucking dream and doing it without any fucking debt, and doing it because he had a plan to move up. And he's got graduated steps where he's doing a little better each step and a little more able to pay for where he wants to be. And he's not the kind of person who's going to be fucking clamoring for minimum wage increases. Minimum wage jobs are a stepping stone, the first stepping stone. You're not supposed to fucking stay there.
They're literally called minimum wage.
Yes.
They're not living wage jobs.
Yeah.
Minimum. They're
bare minimum.
If you have minimum skills and minimum education and minimum experience
and apply minimum effort.
Yeah, and apply minimum effort, you deserve minimum wage. You deserve that, which is something super offensive to socialists, that you dare to say that they don't deserve something. No, you don't deserve to make as much money as I do. You deserve to make the tiniest amount of money that an employer is willing to pay you, because you aren't willing to put anything extra in. And if you don't put in the effort and you don't put in the time and you don't put in the education or any of that, that's on you. That isn't on anyone else. That is entirely and completely on you and your decisions.
Yep.
You chose that.
You have to actually work hard at being a shitbag to stay
Yep.
on minimum wage into like child rearing territory.
If burger flippers and paramedics get paid the same, there's something wrong.
And who would want to be a paramedic? That's a lot of fucking, paramedics, actually, in a lot of places, paramedic, you have to have a bachelor's degree.
EMT.
Yeah, EMT, you firefighter, things like that. People who have high risk, skilled jobs. What's the fucking incentive to go through all that training and provide that critical fucking service to society if you're just going to get paid the same as the fucking burger flipper?
Yeah, I mean, why go be a doctor? Why go be a doctor when you get paid the same amount for working the drive-through at Wendy's?
Well, we see that now in Cuba. It's a perfect example. In Cuba, a doctor makes the same as a baker. They make exactly the same amount of money. So that when Cuba allowed, because of the increases in tourism, started allowing cabbies to keep everything they made in tips, that meant that cabbies were making more than engineers and scientists and doctors and firefighters and police and everybody else. They were making the most money in the entire country. So doctors and engineers and like aeronautic. There's a guy that I saw in a documentary who's talking about it. It was actually Vice. It was one of the few really good documentaries that Vice ever did. Where he interviews him. And the guy talks about the fact that he had been a surgeon, like a cardiac surgeon, and that one of the other cabbies that he drives with was like an aeronautical engineer. And they both left their careers to go be cabbies because they make 4 to 6 times as much money doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Why would anyone, if there's a maximum amount you can make?
If we're all getting paid the same, I'm going to be a librarian.
I'm doing literally the easiest fucking job I can find.
That's what I just picked. Yeah.
Do you know how much education it takes to be a librarian? It's insane.
Yeah, actually,
it's actually insane.
Yeah, librarians actually, that it is a skilled job, but
I found out and I was like, "Holy crap! Seriously?"
yeah, Yeah, I'll
Like,
be. I mean, if we're all getting paid the same, I will be putting in the bare minimum of effort to hold a fucking shit job that I don't have to think about, doesn't require a whole lot of, effort or skill. Yeah, I'm putting in the bare fucking minimum.
Can you imagine a world where a dog walker gets paid the same as a doctor?
No.
That's the way it is in Cuba.
I can't imagine that world. That's a world without any fucking doctors. So, I mean, that's the bottom line, really. There's no incentive to go into these highly skilled career fields.
Can we make up our own careers? just asking for a friend.
Yes. Well, and on top of that, I mean, there's another alternative too. Is rather than getting the if you don't have training, you don't have experience, whatever. If you're willing to work really, really hard, because even jobs that don't really a trained monkey could probably handle, but they're really, really hard work. They get paid a lot too.
Right.
So you need to be willing to either get the education and the skills or the experience to build the skills, or just work really, really hard in order to make more money. But if you're not willing to do
hard
any
physical labor, not like you work hard pushing papers around a desk.
No.
Hard physical fucking labor.
Yeah. No, my first real job, real quote unquote real job, I was carrying hod from my dad. My dad's a mason, and my first job was moving around bricks and making mud.
Yeah.
That's not easy work.
No, it's
not. Well, shit. I spent a summer helping a masonry finisher mix mud and bring it over to him, and that was basically all I was doing, is mixing mud and bringing it over.
Hod carrier.
Yeah, and that was all I did, and I had no experience in it whatsoever, nothing, and I was still making like $16.50, $17 an hour to do it.
Right.
Because it was really hard work in 100-degree weather in the hot sun, and it sucked. But you know what? I was getting paid really well.
That's one of those two callous an hour jobs.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you either have to be willing to do the shit that very few people want to do, or you have to be highly skilled. I mean, if you're not willing to do the really hard shit and you have no skills, what the fuck do you expect out of life?
Yep. So,
but the same people who argue for higher minimum wages and everything are always the ones with like women's studies degrees, or they have a bachelor's in
fine art,
English literature, or in like Russian poets of the 17th century, things like that.
Right. Fine arts degree and shit. Yeah, I saw somebody complaining about a fine arts degree.
Yeah, if you have a liberal arts degree that isn't like graphic design or something that can really be put to use, you just have an academic degree. Let's put it that way. If you have an purely academic degree,
literally like general studies degrees are more useful.
Yeah, that's what Kevin has, actually. Yeah.
Well, I have, like, for instance, I have a history degree. I have a bachelor's in history. Do I use that ever?
What do you do with it, Andrew?
I do this.
You could be like a tour guide or a history teacher.
Yeah. I can't even with my degree, I can't even go to a national park and become a ranger there. No. In order to become a ranger at a national, like a battlefield or anything like that, I know because I wanted to apply to work at Gettysburg. And I found out that in order to do that, you have to have at least a master's and in general a PhD, and your doctoral thesis had to have been on the battle or an aspect of it which you want to be a ranger for.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that is like minimum requirements. Like the guy who's the head ranger.
I've been to Gettysburg, and that's bullshit. There's no way the people working there all have master's degrees.
Sadly,
working there and tour guide are
yeah. No, the head ranger there, for instance, you'll see him on TV shows and stuff, really big, epic, bushy mustache and things. But that guy, that head ranger, has 2 PhDs and has written a Pulitzer Prize-winning book about Gettysburg.
Jesus.
And that's how he got the job. Like,
Jesus.
All right. All right, Bitcoin and crypto suddenly branded a quote national security issue. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been thrown into the limelight over recent months by social media giant Facebook's plans to launch its own private cryptocurrency this year, with much of the attention negative. U.S. President Donald Trump sent shockwaves, stupid pop-up ads, sent shockwaves through the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency community last week when he branded Bitcoin, quote, based on thin air, with the comment, with the comments coming just after the chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve said closer regulation of cryptocurrencies was needed.
The chairman of the Federal Reserve.
It's based on thin.
Based
It's
on
totally. There's nothing concrete behind it. It's totally just a magic trick. Says the guy who prints money that is made out of cotton and
like $35 billion a month of paper. All right. Now, U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin was added his voice to the assault on Bitcoin, Facebook's plan Libra, crypto project, and other cryptocurrencies, warning they pose a, quote, national security risk to the country. Quote, this is indeed a national security issue, Mnuchin said to reporters at a press conference yesterday. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin have been exploited to support billions of dollars of illicit activity like cybercrime, tax evasion, extortion, ransomware, illicit drugs, and human trafficking. He added
Federal Reserve.
Unlike U.S. tax dollars.
He added that Facebook's Libra, quote, could be misused by money launderers and terrorist financiers.
Unlike U.S. tax dollars.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike U.S. currency.
Hold on. Echoing Fed Chair Jerome Powell, Mnuchin said he is, quote, not comfortable with Facebook's plans for its private cryptocurrency. Facebook was...
Well, to be fair,
I'm not comfortable.
You posted something that we deem to be against our community standards, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's your banking session has expired.
For the next 30 days.
Yeah, I'm on a 30-day Facebook ban right now. Can you imagine if all of my banking was done through Facebook?
Jesus.
Like, you posted something sexual. You paid for a webcam model with your money, so now we're going to go ahead and suspend your banking privileges for the next 30 days while you think about what you did.
Right.
Like, oh my God. No one's going to use it. And that's the thing, is Facebook's cryptocurrency being the thing that makes people say this shit. No one's going to use it anyway. Literally no one in their right mind will ever use it.
That's the key. No one in their right mind. But there are a lot of people that are going to use it because it's Facebook.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are not in their right mind.
Facebook, which has been struggling to pivot to a more privacy-based business model in light of its ongoing data sharing scandal, revealed plans for a digital cryptocurrency last month and has recruited 28 partners, including the likes of Uber, PayPal, and MasterCard, to help govern the Bitcoin revival.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Or to govern the Bitcoin rival, expected to be primarily aimed at those serving developing countries when it launches. Last week, Trump tweeted that he's, quote, not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. Though many in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency industry have taken the U.S. president's interest in and awareness of Bitcoin as a positive for the burgeoning technology. Quote, the president does have concern as it relates to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. These are legitimate concerns that we have been working on for a long period of time, Mnuchin said, suggesting that Trump's comments were not off the cuff.
So, counterpoint, when Pablo Escobar and El Chapo were captured, did they have pallets of Bitcoin sitting around? Was that what they had? They had just enormous Bitcoin wallets that... Oh, wait, no. Now I remember. It was a whole bunch of Federal Reserve notes that they had stacked up that they were using, that they had laundered. So to even pretend, to even put on some sort of air that it's somehow more dangerous is beyond laughable.
Well, I mean, to be fair, calling Bitcoin, that was the direct quote, calling Bitcoin a national security threat is kind of the whole point of Bitcoin.
Yeah, because you can't regulate it, you can't control it. It's out there, and you have no way to manipulate it. That's
Good.
Yeah, that's its exact purpose, is to take away, which is why it's a national security threat, because it takes away the Federal Reserve's ability to manipulate the money in your wallet.
Yeah. The latest comments from Trump's administration on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been taken by some as a, quote, bullish news for the future of cryptocurrencies. Quote, Steve Nenchkin's press conference was actually bullish news for the future of cryptocurrencies long term, said Tom Robinson, chief scientist at blockchain forensics company Elliptic. Quote, the U.S. has had a clear anti-money laundering regulatory framework around cryptocurrencies for several years now, while the rest of the world, led by Financial Action Task Force, is rapidly adopting anti-money laundering regulations focused on maintaining oversight of cryptocurrency service providers. So the guy says that Trump's comments downplaying Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, calling them a national threat, is actually good for Bitcoin.
Right, and it is.
It is good for Bitcoin.
Yeah, now how many more people are going to go, oh shit, this is going to piss the government off by using this? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm in, man.
Or even people thinking they think it's a security threat because they can't get into it. So that's really secure. So maybe I should be putting my money in cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, look at the way iPhone messaging and stuff took off after it was revealed that the NSA couldn't get in to the encryption. All of a sudden, everyone wanted to use that because they're like, oh shit, they can't use that? Yeah, that's what I want. And so they all went after it. Now,
like,
and yet all these same people will fucking go to the polls every November and fucking vote. I don't get it.
Yeah, like Signal when Trump did a little press conference, not Trump, one of the other guys did a press conference about wanting to regulate these messaging apps like WhatsApp and Signal because they're encrypted and they need to have Barr is the one that said it, that they need to have automatic built-in back doors, and if we can't have a back door, we need to ban it, right? I had people messaging me asking me for Signal, asking about Signal. Like I said that I use it all the time. I actually really like Signal. I don't like it as much as Telegram. I think Telegram's a little bit easier to use, but I use Signal a lot. And I actually, when I posted the article, I actually had people messaging me, asking me about Signal and asking where to download it. And yeah, holy backfire, Batman.
Yeah, that news that it's going to piss government off that much and that it's that secure is going to be one of the best things to happen to Bitcoin. Realistically, it probably is. Like now, everyone knows.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hold on to my $500 I have in there right now. Then,
with
see what it does.
The same happened with WhatsApp when it was revealed that WhatsApp was being used for the Yellow Vest protest and the Muslim Spring or whatever it was a couple of years ago.
Arab Spring, yeah.
Arab Spring, like that's how they organized, was through WhatsApp, and that blew WhatsApp up.
Yeah,
a lot of people jumping on it, be going, "Oh crap!" The government, can't stop this, because literally everybody knows by now that Facebook Messenger is totally looked at.
Well, yeah, and that's the other joke in this article. Is Facebook mentioned that Facebook's trying to go to a more privacy-oriented model, and it's like, oh, you mean the same people who will ban you for what you post in Facebook Messenger or in secret groups? Yeah, they're moving to a more privacy-based. Forgive me if I don't stand up and applaud.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Forgive me if I don't fucking believe you, for starters.
You're a liar. No, you're not. You're not moving to a more privacy-based model. It's not about privacy for you. It's about control, and you're going to build something into this alleged cryptocurrency that will allow you to manipulate it and control it.
Let's not forget that the NSA is hugely tied into Facebook. That there's actually members of the NSA that sit on Facebook's board. Right? Facebook is a huge. huge data mining program for the federal government.
Yep.
Right, which is why Facebook recently reversed its ban on sharing 3D printed files.
Yep,
Like,
because they can be tracked.
Because absolutely, so they can be tracked.
And this is why several of us are moving to the public beta of Float right now. FLOTE. FLOTE.app. Yep. Yeah, I just signed up for Float today.
No, I haven't messed around on it very much, but yeah.
That is I need to dink around, but it is just a beta right now. They're working on the apps.
It's very Facebook looking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, much more than other social media platforms.
I look at it this way. It's the same thing as like when the Face app thing, and then everyone, it's got the Russian intel gathers facial recognition. First of all, how many of you fucking people that are bitching about that are planning on ever having anything to do with Russia ever? None of you. Not one of you is ever going to have to worry about that. So you don't care.
These are the same people that will text nudes or drop nudes through Messenger or email.
That always blows my fucking mind that people are that stupid. You know what I mean?
Well, and I pointed out at the time, I'm like, look, if I wanted whatever data I'm using my phone for to be secure, I wouldn't be using a phone for it.
Right.
I would not be using an Android, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be using Apple or I'm not going to use anything that other than maybe a black phone, if that. I know better. I have a degree in IT too. I know how to hack this stuff. I know how to rip information off of a phone. And if I can do it with $300 in an afternoon, you better believe that the US government can do it at will. So with that being the case, if I'm doing something on my phone anyway, I don't care if it's secure because I already know my phone isn't. With one exception, and that's messaging, and that's what you use things like Signal and stuff for. But I don't care necessarily about Facebook being open to the NSA because it's all public anyway. Like my page is set to public. Anybody can look at it. I don't care. That's all the stuff that I don't care if it's public.
Yeah, and I have enough common sense not to discuss certain things in total public like that on Instagram and Facebook or Twitter or even here on the podcast. There are certain things I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Yeah, and even if I had things that I wouldn't want to say and wouldn't want anybody to hear, I wouldn't fucking be doing them on these open media sources. I mean, I was in cryptology. I don't give a fuck if you tell me something is secure. There's no such fucking thing. Not really.
At best, you get temporarily secure.
Right.
It's harder to hack, and that's as far as you get. That's... Yeah. I mean, because remember, they said, what was it, maybe 10 years ago?
Andrew.
Was it? He dropped out.
He froze.
Being a bitch again.
Stupid fucking internet. Damn it, Andrew.
Yeah, everybody's having internet problems tonight.
I'm the one having not internet issues, which is kind of back-asswards from what it usually is.
Stealing all our bandwidth, Jason.
I'm going to hold off on that article in hopes that Andrew gets back.
Okay.
And we can jump on a different. I only have 3 articles left. Okay, we'll just do this one. Andrew said, my laptop just froze. Got to reboot.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, figures.
So cool, no biggie.
Yeah, it's always fucking something with this technology, isn't it?
So. Okay. Man selling water bottle without a license placed in chokehold. Quote, I can't breathe.
Eric Garner all over again. Only this guy wasn't even selling cigarettes, which some people
Andrew said, quote, my NSA agent didn't like me calling them out, apparently. Yeah. So yeah, this was in Las Vegas. Las Vegas police arrested a man for selling a water bottle without a license at witness recorded.
So you literally cannot sell water in the middle of the fucking desert without a goddamn government permit.
Selling bottled water in triple-digit heats in summer to
Sealed,
tourists.
bottled water, right? Yeah.
A man selling cold bottled water to thirsty tourists on a triple-digit summer day in Las Vegas was placed in a chokehold by Las Vegas police, who apparently were cracking down on unlicensed street vendors. Quote, "I can't breathe," the man wheezed as one cop tightened the chokehold around his neck, but the cop only tells him to, quote, "quit resisting."
Anybody's going to resist if you're cutting off their fucking airways. It's called survival instinct. We don't have a lot of control over it.
Yeah, quote, "saying he is resisting won't make him be resisting," says a witness as the cops continue repeating the mindless phrase. The man I watched the video. The man does not resist throughout the video, but the cops continue to tell him not to resist. Quote, "You're the only one committing a crime," another witness tells the cop. The video was posted to Facebook Friday with the following description. Quote, "This video is someone I know. Jimmy Williams was exercising his right to support himself and or his family. He was selling water in Las Vegas on a hot day. Do you still think you're free? Do you still think police are your friends? This is what promoters, water sellers, smut peddlers, etc. go through every day on the Las Vegas Strip, trying to make a living, trying to put smiles on people's faces. You have the right to pursue happiness, whatever that is. Do it as long as you don't harm anyone. The police are nothing but a domestic terrorist organization. More people need to wake up. It's not easy. Waking up is hard to do, especially when you have been indoctrinated. Rebirth is learning what you have been taught. Life is not butterflies and crayons. It's not going to be pretty. It's easy, or it's going to be a long, lonely road. But for one, I would rather die standing up than to comply. 'Tis better to burn out than it is to fade, because rust never sleeps." So yeah. The video is kind of brutal to watch, really. And at the end, there's like 4 cops there, and like 2 cops are pinning him down. Another cop is handcuffing him, and they got the collapsible ask behind the guy's arm, and they're pinning his elbow up, and for selling water to tourists without the government's permission
in the desert.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable. Unbelievable.
It's insane. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's your freedom, America.
Yep.
Like, so much freedom. Andrew would have something really smart to say there, but
yeah. Well, you're only free as long as the fucking violent gang gets their cut. That's what it's about. It's no different than the mafia fucking extorting businesses. As long as they get their cut, they'll leave you alone.
True. I mean, and like the guy, he's not like on private property. He's on public. It looks like a public street. He has an ice chest, and he's sitting on it selling water. Open the ice chest, give him the water, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, this guy, he wasn't hurting anybody. He was providing a service. Like, he wasn't stealing from anybody, and like, he's selling to tourists and people walking by in triple-digit heat in the desert.
Yep.
But they gotta fuck with him.
I'm telling you, the sidewalks in Las Vegas, they're fucking brutal. Like walking around on the sidewalks in Vegas.
Well, you got the effect from the sun bouncing off all the glass windows and whatnot,
and the concrete. Yeah, heating up the concrete all day, and yeah, the sidewalks on Vegas. I mean, you can die of dehydration there faster than in the desert, if you ask me. So
it's an oven. It really is. It really is an oven. So, at least you get a breeze out in the desert sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I've been there a couple times, and it's never been pleasant to go outside of the hotel.
No, we'll save that the namesake article for last if Andrew gets back. But how about this one from Truth About Guns, which I absolutely love the Truth About Guns. After shooting Chicago advocates residents get guns and carry permits.
So isn't it? It always fucking amuses me how these things come full circle. You know, somebody, like, it takes them how many decades of pushing for their, you know, their like super weird beliefs, for their beliefs to start fucking showing them back that they don't fucking work. Like, they couldn't reason their way to that conclusion within like maybe just a week of solid introspection and thought about this and maybe some research. And no, they have to fucking learn it the hard way every fucking time.
Yeah, every time. LaShawn Ford has served as the Illinois state representative since 2007. Like his fellow Chicago Democrat General Assembly members, he has been a fairly consistent vote against gun rights since, well, forever. But he recently appeared on the radio station WLSAM, encouraging residents to arm themselves and to get carry license. What caused Representative Ford's sudden, very public change when it comes to guns? Could it be the, quote, come to Jesus moment this past weekend outside his home that left one man dead? Or was it the fact that his car was riddled with gunfire during the incident? Regardless of the reason, Ford has changed his way of thinking. We welcome it. His constituents deserve the proven personal defense benefits of firearm ownership and concealed carry. WSLAM has a story that happened outside Ford's home. Quote, another violent weekend that saw 8 people killed and at least 32 others wounded. One lawmaker is taking action by encouraging his constituents to arm themselves. Bullets from a shooting that left a 22-year-old dead in the Austin neighborhood on the west side Sunday also found State Rep LaShawn Ford's car. Quote, I don't think about it all the time, Ford said. The shooting that takes place, or shootings that plague his community, quote, that's why I'm working with a concealed carry instructor, and we're going to go through the neighborhood and we're going to encourage people to get their concealed carry license because it makes no sense for people not to have the protection that they need.
This is so fucking typical. You didn't give a fuck about anybody else's lives. You didn't give a fuck about anybody else's rights until some shit happened to you and you saw how it fucking feels. Like, how do people, I don't know. I gotta think somebody that needs life to slap them in the face for them to understand something this basic. Mm-hmm. I feel like those people are probably sociopaths.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a young kid. I gotta look him up how old he is. He's not that old. Let's see. According to the Wikipedia, since 2007. So he's 46. He was born in 71. Chicago, Illinois. So he's a real estate broker and teacher by profession.
Huh.
So
teacher, that explains it.
It explains a lot, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like he was an open advocate opposed to personal protection and firearms and people's rights.
An advocate of gun control and yeah.
And
until it happened to him.
Till it happened outside his house, and his car gets riddled with bullets. And now he's like, hold on. Wait a minute. Everybody back up. Hello, Mr. Andrew.
Unbelievable.
There we go. That was weird.
Yeah.
We're talking about Chicago, is it? Democrat?
Yeah. Chicago Democrat. LaShawn Ford. He's served as the Illinois state representative since 2007. He's been a consistent advocate against gun rights. And then a couple weekends ago, there were 8 people killed and at least 32 others wounded. One lawmaker is taking action by encouraging his constituents to arm themselves. Bullets from a shooting that left a 22-year-old dead in the Austin neighborhood on the west side Sunday also found State Representative LaShawn Ford's car. Quote, I don't think about it all the time. Ford said that the shooting that plagues his community, quote, that's why I'm working with concealed carry instructor, and we're going to go through the neighborhood and we're going to encourage people to get their concealed carry license because it makes no sense for people not to have the protections that they need.
said a staunch gun control advocate after it fucking happened to him.
Gosh, what? What a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about the how things come full circle. And
why some people can start at one point in the circle and have to reason their way all the way around to just get within like a hair of where they were standing before. If they just turned around the other way, they would have seen it.
Yeah, it's
You know?
amazing.
like
All of a sudden, isn't it a coincidence that all of a sudden, the moment that somebody finds a need to protect themselves, they go, gosh, people really need guns to be able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's a recent article about Antifa arming themselves and the John Brown gun clubs that were sprouting up all over the place. And it's just like, who wants to be the fascist now? Oh, wait, you guys are already fascists.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't these the same people who have been calling everyone who wanted a gun like a fascist and a Nazi and all this other crap?
Yep.
Like just recently, aren't these exact same people all over again?
They're
now
the
going,
same people
I
who
want guns?
always they're the same people
rednecks.
who always make comments about guns and talk about like the dude must have a small dick because he's compensating for something. Like these are the people who make the dick envy jokes about
body shaming at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Sigmund Freud himself said that a fear of guns was a sign of a sexual retardation.
Yeah. Well,
that if you were afraid of guns, it was because you were inherently afraid of the idea of penises, and then therefore you clearly were sexually deficient, and there was something wrong with you, that no reasonable, well-developed person would be afraid of weapons.
now I don't agree with everything Freud said, but I agree with that shit.
Yeah.
If Dan was here, he'd make some joke about cuckolding on the rise as gun control is on the rise. Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
So thinking of you, Dan.
Yep.
He's not thinking of us because, well,
Yeah.
he's probably busy because kids are probably in bed.
Yeah. He ought to be busy.
Speaking of the sexual connection with guns, and
you haven't even used your sound effect, Andrew.
I did once. I did once.
Yeah. But I mean, we're talking about penises now. There you go. Yeah, prepare to hear that a lot next week, everybody. Because
oh god, that's going to be a constant.
Episode 69. Weird sex laws across America.
Yep. All right, we saved the last article, the namesake article, until you got back, Andrew.
Yep.
Because I know you're going to have just a little bit to say on it. Court rules police officer who shot 10-year-old is protected by qualified immunity.
Yeah.
Qualified
immunity, deez nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A woman whose 10-year-old child was shot by a police officer will receive no compensation for her child's medical bills after a federal court ruled last week in Corbett v. Vickers that the officer was protected by qualified immunity. In 2014, a criminal suspect named Christopher Barnett entered Amy Corbett's front yard where a group of children were also playing. The police soon followed in pursuit of Barnett. The officer held Barnett and the children at gunpoint, ordering them all to get on the ground. All complied, including Barnett, who was approached without incident. But Bruce, the Corbett's family dog, sauntered over to Coffee County, Georgia Deputy Sheriff Michael Vickers, who attempted to shoot the animal regardless of the fact that, quote, no one appeared threatened by Bruce. As the 11th Circuit put it, Vickers missed. The dog briefly retreated, then reappeared, prompting Vickers to shoot at the animal once more. Vickers missed the dog again, but this time he hit Corbett's 10-year-old child in the back of the knee. The child was laying on the ground a mere 18 inches from Vickers, according to court documents. The child, referred to as SDC throughout the legal proceedings, has since, quote, suffered severe pain and mental trauma, according to the 11th Circuit, and has required ongoing care from an orthopedic surgeon. In response to the shooting of her child, Amy Corbett filed a $2 million suit for special and compensatory damages. Vickers countered with a motion to dismiss, which argued, quote, that Vickers was entitled to qualified immunity because case law did not or had not stacked out a, quote, bright line indicating that the act of firing at the dog and unintentionally shooting SDC was unlawful.
So
I don't give a fuck if it's lawful or unlawful. What's one of the rules of gun safety? Know what's behind your fucking target.
He wasn't even behind the target. He missed the dog completely. So he missed
twice.
He missed the dog twice.
And he shouldn't have even been shooting at the dog in the first fucking place.
And hit a girl that was 18 inches from the suspect.
A boy, I think, right?
A girl. I think the child.
I'm pretty sure it was a girl, 10-year-old girl.
Oh,
girl. Okay. Yeah. The U.S. District Court for Southern District of Georgia agreed with Corbett, holding in 2017 that Deputy Sheriff Vickers use of force violated the child's Fourth Amendment rights. But the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit reversed that judgment last week, holding that Vickers deserved qualified immunity because, quote, Corbett failed to present us with any material similar cases from the U.S. Supreme Court, this court, or the Supreme Court of Georgia that would have given Vickers fair warning that this particular conduct violated the Fourth Amendment. In other words, because there were no earlier cases on the books declaring this particular type of conduct to be unconstitutional, the officer received qualified immunity.
Why was it even being argued as a constitutional case in the first place?
I mean, just to recap here. So this cowardly piece of subhuman shit goes into a house to arrest someone and shoots
They were chasing the suspect. The suspect went into the yard. Police pulled guns. The suspect surrendered, laid down.
So these people are completely innocent bystanders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Erica, you're a big pink square.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. My fucking internet's being fucky. Sorry.
Okay. But so they have no reason to go into the house. They go into the house anyway. So they've invaded a home. They attempt to shoot a friendly dog after holding children at gunpoint.
Twice. Tried to shoot the dog twice.
Miss the first time. The second time, not only miss, but blow out the knee of a 10-year-old girl lying on the ground. And he doesn't suffer a single consequence because no one told him that might be wrong.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. In other words, because there were no earlier case on the books declaring this particular type of conduct to be clearly unconstitutional, the officer received qualified immunity. Well, guess what? There's no case on the books now either because you gave the bastard qualified immunity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Actually, now there is a case on the book.
There is a case on the books, and the cop got
qualified immunity. Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations. Hooray for common law. Kevin and I were just talking about it today, actually.
Furthermore, according to the 11th Circuit, one relevant Supreme Court precedent, Bauer v. County of Inyo, 1989, directly cut in favor of the officer. According to Bauer, quote, a Fourth Amendment violation depends upon intentional action on the part of the officer.
Shooting was an intentional fucking action.
In other words, according to the 11th Circuit application of Bauer, because Vickers meant to shoot the dog, not the child, his actions should be covered under qualified immunity.
Oh my God.
Again, we're in a police state. The cops can do anything they want to anyone they want at will.
Hold on. One more paragraph, and then I'll stop. The qualified immunity doctrine centers on the idea of reasonableness. Would a reasonable police officer have known that he was violating a constitutional right? That is essentially the litmus test.
The litmus test. Well, let's see. what is your definition of reasonable? Because I would say that if you're taking a job as a cop, you're probably not fucking reasonable to begin with. So
yeah, I'd say any reasonable person wouldn't shoot at a friendly dog in a home they don't belong in the first place. Anyway,
any reasonable person wouldn't shoot at that dog even if it wasn't friendly with all those fucking kids around. A reasonable person wouldn't discharge their firearm with so many innocents around. I mean,
the suspect had surrendered. He was on the ground. He was being handcuffed. He wasn't resisting. Why were the guns still out?
because they're cops.
yeah,
That's the only reason. And that's the same reason that he's not being charged with anything. The same reason that he doesn't have to pay anything. Literally, that is what the court found, is because he's a cop, you can't do anything. Sorry.
and they're
Cops can
trained
do
to view
anything they want.
everything as a threat now. They're trained to view everything as a threat.
Yeah, because he didn't know it was unconstitutional to shoot a fucking 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking trigger-happy little bitches now, essentially.
And don't forget, this isn't the first time this has happened. There's video of that guy shooting at that dog, missing the dog, and hitting that little girl in the face.
Uh-huh.
And he also walked with nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cops can do anything they want to you at any time just because they want to, and they will get away with it. If you think that there's the slightest chance that they won't, you're an idiot. They can do anything to you.
They just have to claim that that wasn't their intent. I mean, in these cases,
well, not even that. Not even that. Like we can go back. We can go all the way back to 1992 and talk about Lon Harashi. Lon Harashi got off in 1998 on a manslaughter charge when the federal government stepped in and cited the supremacy clause. Said because he was in the commission of doing his job, shooting unarmed Vicky Weaver in the face while she was holding her baby, he's immune to prosecution.
That's what qualified immunity is. That's what set that up. There was a case here in town.
Who defended them? William Barr.
Yep. And that's here in town. There was a case like this a few years ago. There was a bar fight in the next town over. So if you're heading north up along the Mississippi River, there's La Crosse where we're at, and then there's Onalaska, and then there's Holman is just a little bit further up. But it's like a 10-minute drive between Onalaska and Holman. Well, in Holman, there's a bar fight, and this Onalaska cop is called in because apparently it's a decently big bar fight. So in the middle of town, she decides to accelerate to 110 miles an hour with only her lights going, no siren, blows a red light, T-bones a car, and kills the 16-year-old kid. And while the police department fired her, and I quote, for her own safety, because we ain't going to fuck around with that, she walked with no charges, and the family didn't get any money from her because she was in the process of responding to a call in a quote-unquote reasonable fashion, 110 miles an hour on surface streets with only her lights on.
Yeah, we had a cop going that fast through town here once, just a couple years ago, and he was going so fast, even with his siren on, there wasn't enough time for drivers to get out of the intersection. He hit somebody. His police cruiser got like ripped in two, and he got ejected and killed. And there's a little memorial on the side of the road for him. But
that'd be a nice place to stop and piss.
But I think the driver of the other car survived. He didn't. So.
Well, there's some justice occasionally.
Yeah. But the community Facebook page did like this memorial for him and shit. He was being fucking retarded. They
did a memorial for the cop that overdosed on fentanyl.
That he was stealing from crime.
Yeah, he was stealing fentanyl.
Yeah, it came out yesterday that he actually stole that fentanyl from an earlier case.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then he OD'd, now there's a memorial.
I've always thought that the evidence, the evidence room or evidence lockers, just it's the party store for cops and their families and shit like that.
I can tell you some stories that I will do off the air. I will not put that on the air because No, I'm sure statute of limitations is already up. It's been 20 years, but
I've heard a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have I. But that's the thing, is the cops can get away with anything. I mean, when she did that, she was driving. She didn't even, the car that she hit wasn't even the first car through the intersection. There were 2 cars ahead of the car that got T-boned that she had to have seen and did not slow down. She just kept going, T-boned him, killed him. And then on top of that, she also demanded a pension because she suffered injuries that are going to permanently give her a limp in the accident.
All of this is literally her fucking fault.
Yeah, and everything is her fault. And her argument was, well, I had to go that fast. Her argument was, well, I had to go that fast because it was a big bar fight. A bar fight that you didn't go to, and yet no one died. In fact, by the time the cops actually got there, it had dispersed on its own. Because it was a bunch of good old boys at a redneck bar getting in a fight, and at the end, they all went back inside and bought each other beers. Because that's how men handle their fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why we don't have an axe-throwing bar here in the Bay Area.
We got one here. I actually know the guy who owns it. I talked to him a little bit. He'd do an interview for us if we wanted to talk to him. Because remember a year ago, we did that thing about the axe throwing bar in New York. I got a hold of him. He was like,
they got their liquor license by putting in a pool table.
Yeah, and he's actually now, it's both an axe throwing bar and an arcade bar. He's got an arcade on the other side, and then he's got axe throwing on the one side. But
sweet. Yeah, that sounds like a fun bar to go to.
I know, it's freaking awesome. It's so cool. But yeah, like and they have like hot dogs, and they serve food and stuff too. But
right,
like I talked to him about it at the time when we did that article, and he was like, "Yeah, I totally do an interview with you guys because like somebody's got to set the record straight on the safety and how it all works and how ridiculous it is, how heavily regulated it is." And I mean, and in Wisconsin, our bars are way less regulated than a lot of places, and it's still absurd.
Which is why Wisconsin's like the fucking beer capital of the U.S.
Yes. Yeah. We have the world's largest 6-pack. We actually have literal statues to the patron saint of beer. Like,
yeah,
it's insane. Everybody drinks here.
Yeah. Well, how else are you going to stay warm in the winter over there?
You got to get through the winter somehow.
Yeah.
So, all right, I got one quick one. This was not on the linked in the description. But yeah, you guys know that Beyond Meat company, right? They do the fake meat, do the fake burgers and whatnot. Well, now they're crossing the line and they're coming after bacon. Fake Beyond Meat is coming after, and they're going to make bacon.
You can take your fakin' and you can shove it right up your fucking ass. That's what I think of your stupid fakin'.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time I've ever even tried any of the fake bacon stuff, your ass is right where it goes in about 6 seconds. Because holy cow.
I have never tried fake bacon. Sorry. I can't bring myself to do it.
The closest I've come is turkey bacon, and that is not very good either.
Yeah, that's on top. It was like turkey bacon, and it was just horrifying. I'm like, what is this? And then, of course, immediately my body's like, nope, this is lies. Get rid of it. So it's at this point now, like I take the stance of Ron Swanson when he finds that turkey bacon display in the store, and he's like, may I have one, please? And immediately tosses it in the garbage. Another, please. Tosses it in the garbage. Another, please.
He goes into the restaurant and he says, I'd like all your bacon. And he goes, wait, I know what you heard was a lot of bacon.
Give me all the bacon and eggs.
All your bacon and eggs.
Wait. I fear that what you've heard was I would like a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Right.
There's actually a bronze bust
picture.
Yeah. There's a bronze bust of Ron Swanson that actually has "Give me all the bacon and eggs you have" on it that I want for my desk here in the worst way. It's phenomenal. I love Ron Swanson. My goal is to make this government institution as inefficient and awful as possible, so that the people of this town finally get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yes, please. No. On that note, you guys got anything else?
Nope. Buy my book.
Buy her book. Go watch Andrew's videos. Both.
Yep,
links-
watch my videos. I'm
both
gonna
links-
record
both links
one.
in the description below.
Yeah, I can't do live because I'm on a Facebook ban, so I have to record stuff and then upload it right now. And for the next 26 days, I think.
And we can, and you could send someone it, and somebody else could upload it onto the Anarchy Among Friends page. Just saying, that's entirely possible.
That's what I'm gonna have to do too.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. We use Google Hangouts and do YouTube Live through Google Hangouts, but YouTube is ending its support for Google Hangouts. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work because we haven't done any tests on it. But next week, I guess, we will be doing through OBS, and we'll be doing either YouTube Live or we will be on the Anarchy Among Friends Facebook page live.
I think that our 69th episode is a good one to be our first one on Facebook. Yeah.
70th will be on YouTube because we'll all be banned.
Right.
Yeah. Say, well, the only way we can do it on Facebook Live is if we can stream it to it because from OBS.
I figured that on OBS. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to do it. That's what I do for my live videos is OBS to Facebook Live. So
the only thing is I won't be able to watch the comments because I have to do a screen capture. So I mean, we could do it if we have the comments on the screen, but I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So on that note,
be ready for a new format next week. Is all we're saying.
Yeah.
And send us weird sex laws.
Yes, send us weird sex laws. You have a week. That is 6 days and change.
Sex, kissing, like relationship stuff. If it's super bizarre, send it to us. We'll sift through. We'll come up with a list.
Like Alabama has a ban on dildo on masturbation aids.
Yeah.
Like we know that. Send us something else.
Yeah.
So on that note,
or just send us whatever you have and we'll sift through them.
Send us everything you have.
Yeah.
Except your nudes. We don't want to see those.
Wait. I'm worried that what you heard was we want a lot of sex laws. What we said was send us all of the weird sex laws you have.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Ditto what that guy said. We'll catch you next week. We'll catch you next week. Peace.
Yep.